Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Before my first trip to Israel, Yisrael had only been a name I recited during Sunday morning services at Hebrew school. A name that I recited over and over again on Shabbat. A place that was taught to me as being beautiful, but one that seemed more fictional than real. I knew Israel was called the Jewish homeland, but it wasn't yet my home. I had never been to Israel before, and I needed to find out what was so special about this place that I had prayed so often about. I needed to know what made this land our home. I made my first journey on Nifty's EIE High School in Israel program and lived on Kibbutz Suba for a semester of my sophomore year. There, my Jewish history class and Hebrew course shed new light on the importance of the land of Israel. Visiting each site while learning its history brought the Tanakh to life, and I started to find the connections between the physical land and our sacred texts. Through my Hebrew studies, my understanding and desire for prayer grew as well. As I started to translate the prayers, the words that I chanted were no longer just sounds repeated each week. They became blessings and hopes. It was not until I began to explore Israel, the history, the land, and the language, that my Jewish identity began to cultivate, intellectually, religiously, and spiritually. I had fallen in love with Israel. Then, last year, after being accepted into rabbinical school, I had the opportunity to spend my first year of study in Israel. Having already established my love for the land, I was able to examine it with a new lens, a more critical lens. I realized that while on the high school program, there was one very important part of Israel I had failed to encounter: the people. I had heard about the organization Women of the Wall, whose central mission is to achieve the social and legal recognition of their right as women to wear prayer shawls, pray, and read from the Torah, collectively and out loud at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. It was unthinkable for me that women, Jews, could not pray freely in the Jewish state. I attended my first Rosh Chodesh service in order to better understand the situation. Yet no explanation could reason with attainments for women praying with talitot. The group of approximately 30 women peacefully prayed as police watched their every move like a group of criminals. I remember the warmth that emanated from the beautiful sound of voices in prayer, but I couldn't help feeling distracted by the police eyewitnesses. After concluding Shacharit at the Kotel, we continued to the entrance of the Kishlei police station for the Torah service, waiting for the detained women to be released. It hurt to admit that it was the first day I saw Israel in a different light, and I was angry with the country I thought was supposed to be accepting of all Jews. It was then I knew I needed to support Women of the Wall, and I became an intern for this cause. During the year, I was in a constant love-hate relationship. With each detainment by the Jerusalem police, my anger towards Israel only grew. Simultaneously, living in Israel allowed me to feel what it means to be a part of a collective, the Jewish people. How could I feel such a sense of belonging, and then on Rosh Chodesh, such a sense of revulsion? But wanting Israel to so desperately be a better place, I continued to strive for change. Women of the Wall grew from 30 to 300 attending supporters. Last April, the organization was granted freedom of religious expression at the Kotel, and exactly a year from this Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Women of the Wall prayed with talitot without any detainments. For a change, the police were protecting us. On that day, with HUC's support, I was given the honor of leading everyone in Shacharit. I was ready to be arrested wholeheartedly for what I believe in: for religious equality, for freedom of religious expression, and for religious pluralism. However, when I arrived, I could not believe the scene before me. The police had formed a human barricade, each officer linking arms. They were not arresting us, they were guarding us, allowing us to pray in peace. There was yelling, whistling, throwing, and shoving from thousands of ultra-Orthodox, and at any moment it looked as though they were going to attack those praying. I watched for a moment as the human barricade protected a center of Women of the Wall supporters with all of their might. Although the raging protesters and the moment of fear that overcame me, I knew I had a purpose. Still now the division of the Jewish people hurts me. I'm ashamed. It is a hard notion to grasp. Only in Israel would one find police protecting Jews from Jews. I've realized that I don't have a love-hate relationship with Israel. Instead, my passion for my homeland is immense. If I didn't care so deeply for Israel and I didn't think it had the potential to be a better place, a more pluralistic place, I wouldn't have supported this cause. My Israel in high school and my Israel in rabbinical school are miles apart from one another. I only hope that in another couple of years my Israel will be a place where I can feel welcome as a Reformed Jew. Living there, I struggled with the love for a country that did not support my Judaism. I struggled with the place that I had always called my homeland. The truth is that it isn't possible for Israel to be one's homeland until he or she has wrestled with the land and learned to embrace it, its strengths and its flaws. Because after all, this is our home. There's just more work to be done. Thank you.